Hello everyone. Today we are going to start the sixth chapter, Physical and Chemical Changes. Every day you come across many changes in your surroundings. These changes may involve one or more substances. For example, your mother may ask you to dissolve sugar in water to make a cold drink. Making a sugar solution is a change. Similarly, setting curd from milk is a change. Sometimes milk becomes sour. Souring of milk is a change. Stretched rubber band also represents a change. So it is clear from the explanation that when you mix sugar in water, it's a change when you make a sugar solution, and when the curd is settled from the milk, it is also a change, and when you stretch a rubber band, that represents a change. Make a list of 10 changes you have noticed around you. In this chapter, we shall perform some activities and study the nature of these changes. Broadly, these changes are two kinds, physical and chemical. So there are two types of change. One is physical and second is chemical change. First is physical change. Activity 6.1. Cut a piece of paper in 4 square pieces. Cut each square piece further into 4 square pieces. Lay these pieces on the floor or a table so that the pieces acquire the shape of the original piece of paper. 6.1. So you have seen the one single paper was cut into 4 paper, and each one of the piece is cut it into 4 pieces more. So obviously you can join the pieces back to make the original piece, but is there a change in the property of the paper? So you can see there is a change in the property of paper. Activity 6.2. Collect the chalk dust lying on the floor near the chalkboard in your classroom, or crush a small piece of chalk into dust. Add a little water to the dust to make a paste. Roll it into the shape of a piece of chalk. Let it dry. Do you recover chalk from the dust? Activity 6.3. Take some ice in a glass or plastic tumbler. Melt a small portion of ice by placing the tumbler in the sun. So you take a plastic tumbler and put ice in it, and when you put it in the sun, the small portion of ice will start to melt. You have now a mixture of ice and water. Now place the tumbler in the freezing mixture, ice plus common salt. Does the water become solid ice once again? So you can see the activity. Activity 6.4. Boil some water in a container. Do you see the steam rising from the surface of water? Hold the inverted pan by its handle over the steam at some distance from the boiling water. Observe the inner surface of the pan. Did you see any droplets of water there? So when you boil some water and put a pan over it to cover it, and after some time you will see that the steam is settled on the pan, top of the pan, and some droplets of water will be there. Activity number 6.5. Be careful while handling a flame. It's a word of caution here. Hold a used hacksaw blade with a pair of tongs. Keep the tip of the free end of the blade on the gas stove. Wait for a few minutes. Does the color of the tip of the blade changes? Remove the blade from the flame. Observe the tip once again after some time. Does it get back its normal original color? In activity 6.1 and 6.2 above, you saw the paper and a piece of chalk underwent changes in size. In activity 6.3 and 6.4, water changed its state from solid to liquid or from gas to liquid. In activity 6.5, the hacksaw blade changed color on heating. Properties such as shape, size, color, and state of a substance are called its physical property. So these are the physical properties: shape, size, color, and state of the substance. A change in which a substance undergoes a change in its physical property is called a physical change. When some physical properties change, then it is a physical change. A physical change is generally reversible. So you can reverse the physical change once again. In such a change, no new substance is formed. So when a physical change is reversed, there will be no change in the substance. Let us now consider the other kind of change, that is chemical change. A change with which you are quite familiar is the rusting of iron. If you leave a piece of iron in the open for some time, it acquires a film of brownish substance. This substance is called rust. So when you place the iron outside, so when it comes in contact with air and water, it begins the process of rusting. So it will leave a black brownish film over the substance. So that brownish film is called rust, and the process is called rusting. 6.2 figure shows the rusting. So you can see it here. Here is the rust in the iron gates of park or farmlands, iron benches kept in lawns and gardens. Almost every article of iron kept in the open gets rusted. So when we keep the iron outside, it gets rusted. At home, you must have seen shovels and spades getting rusted when exposed to atmosphere for some time. In the kitchen, a wet iron pan, tawa, often gets rusted if left in that state for some time. Rust is not iron. It is different from iron on which it gets deposited. So rust is not iron, but it's some different thing which get deposited on it. Let us consider a few changes where new substances are formed. Activity 6.6 to be demonstrated by the teacher. A word of caution is here. It is dangerous to look for long at the burning magnesium ribbon. The teacher should advise children not to stare at the burning ribbon. Get a small piece of thin strip or ribbon of magnesium. Clean its tip with sandpaper. Bring the tip near a candle flame. It burns with a brilliant white. So you can see here it is burning the ribbon of magnesium. It will give a bright light. When it is completely burnt, it leaves behind a powdery ash. Does the ash look like the magnesium ribbon? So when the whole ribbon is burnt, some white powdery ash will be there. The change can be observed by the following equation. Magnesium plus oxygen will give magnesium oxide. The equations here are different from those in mathematics. In equations of this kind, the arrow implies becomes. So this kind of equation, the arrow indicates become. So magnesium plus oxygen will become magnesium oxide, MgO. No attempt should be made to balance chemical equations at this stage. Collect the ash and mix it with a small amount of water. Stir the mixture aqueous solution well. Test the mixture with blue and red litmus paper. And does the mixture turns red litmus paper to blue? Does the mixture turns blue litmus paper to red? On the basis of this test, how do you classify the aqueous solution, acidic or basic? So you have learned in the previous chapter that the red litmus paper will turn to blue and blue litmus paper will turn to red. On dissolving the ash in water, it forms a new substance. So when the ash is mixed in water, it will form a new substance. This change can be written in the form of the following equation. Magnesium oxide MgO plus water H2O will become magnesium hydroxide MgOH twice. As you have already learned in chapter 5, magnesium hydroxide is a base. So magnesium hydroxide is a base. So magnesium oxide is a new substance formed on burning of magnesium. Magnesium hydroxide is a new substance formed by mixing magnesium oxide with water. So it is obtained by mixing magnesium oxide with water. Activity 6.7 to be demonstrated by the teacher. Dissolve about a teaspoonful of copper sulfate, blue vitriol or Neela thota in about half a cup of water. So you have to dissolve a teaspoonful of copper sulfate in half cup of water in a glass or a beaker or a tumbler. Add a few drops of dilute sulfuric acid to the solution. You should get a blue colored solution. Save a small sample of the solution in a test tube or a small glass bottle. Drop a nail or a used shaving blade into the remaining solution. Wait for half an hour or so. Observe the color of the solution. Compare it with the color of the sample solution saved separately. So you have seen here, this is copper sulfate and this is iron sulfate, because this is mixed in it. It's like a small shaving blade or a nail was dropped. So you will see the explanation here. The change that you notice are due to reaction between copper sulfate and iron. So copper sulfate and iron has reacted and it changed the color of the solution. The color of the solution from blue to green is due to the formation of iron sulfate, a new substance. So iron sulfate will be formed and change the color of the solution. The brown deposit on the iron nail is copper. Another new substance, we can write the reaction as follows. Copper sulfate solution, which was blue, plus iron will give iron sulfate solution, which will be green, and copper, which will be on the top of the iron nail, which will be in the form of brown deposit. Activity 6.8. Take about a teaspoonful of vinegar in a test tube. Add a pinch of baking soda to it. You would hear a hissing sound and see bubbles of gas coming out. So when you put vinegar in a test tube and add some baking soda, you will hear some hissing sound and some bubbles of gases coming out. Pass this gas through freshly prepared lime water as shown in figure 6.5. What happens to lime water? The change in the test tube is as follows. Vinegar acetic acid plus baking soda sodium hydrogen carbonate becomes carbon dioxide plus other substances. The reaction between carbon dioxide and lime water are shown as below. Carbon dioxide plus lime water will give calcium carbonate plus water. So you can see here, this is baking vinegar plus baking soda, and we'll pass it to the lime water through here. You see a cork here, and the two test tubes are connected through a pipe, and carbon dioxide is released. This will release carbon dioxide and it will make calcium carbonate and water. When carbon dioxide is passed through the lime water, calcium carbonate is formed, which makes lime water milky. The turning of lime water into milky is a standard test of carbon dioxide. So it is like a standard test. You will use it in the chapter 10 to show that the air we breathe out is rich in carbon dioxide. So the air we breathe is rich in carbon dioxide, but we only take oxygen from it. In activities 6.6 to 6.8, you saw that in each changes, one or more new substances were formed. In activity 6.6, the ash was the new substance formed when magnesium was burned in air. In activity 6.7, the reaction of copper sulfate with iron produced iron sulfate and copper. You have seen it in the activity 6.7. Both of these are new substances. So both of these gave new substances. Copper was deposited on the shaving blade of iron. In activity 6.8, vinegar and baking soda together produced carbon dioxide, which turned lime water milky. Can you name the new substance formed in this reaction? A change in which one or more new substances are formed is called a chemical change. So in physical change, no new substances are formed, but in a chemical change, one or more new substances are formed. A chemical change is also called a chemical reaction. So chemical change is also defined as chemical reaction. Chemical change are very important in our life. All new substances are formed as a result of chemical changes. So chemical changes are very important for our life, and new substances are formed as a result of chemical changes. For example, digestion of food in our body is a chemical change. Ripening of fruits, fermentation of grapes, etc. happens due to series of chemical changes. A medicine is the end product of a chain of chemical reactions. So a medicine is a product of chemical reactions. Useful new materials such as plastics and detergents are produced by chemical reactions. So plastic and detergent is also made possible by chemical reactions. Indeed, every new material is discovered by studying chemical changes. We have seen that one or more new substances are produced in a chemical change. In addition to new products, the following may accompany a chemical change. So heat, light or any other radiation may be given off or absorbed during a chemical change. Sound may be produced during a chemical change. A change in smell may take place or a new smell may be given off. A color change may take place. A gas may be formed in a chemical change. Let us look at some example. You saw that burning of magnesium ribbon is a chemical change. Burning of coal, wood or leaves is also a chemical change. In fact, burning of any substance is a chemical change. Burning is always accompanied by production of heat. So burning always results in a chemical change. Explosion of a firework is a chemical change. So when you have some explosion through crackers or anything, that is a chemical change. You know that such an explosion produces heat, light, sound and unpleasant gases that pollute the atmosphere. So when there is an explosion, there will be heat, light, sound and some gases that will be released during the process, and these gases may pollute our environment. That is why you are advised not to play with fireworks. When food gets spoiled, it produces a foul smell. Shall we call this change a chemical change? So when the food gets spoiled, it also produces a foul smell. That is a chemical change. You must have noticed that a slice of an apple acquires a brown color if it is not consumed immediately. You must have seen that. If you have not seen this change in color, cut a fresh slice of apple and keep it away for some time. Repeat the same activity with a slice of potato or brinjal. The change of color in these cases is due to the formation of new substance. So it is due to the formation of new substance that the brown film is coated over a piece of apple which has been cut before some time. Are not these changes chemical changes? In chapter 5, you neutralize an acid with base. Is neutralization a chemical change? A protective shield. You must have heard of the ozone layer in our atmosphere. So there is an ozone layer in our atmosphere. It protects us from the harmful ultraviolet radiation which comes from the sun. So the ozone layer plays a very important role to stop the ultraviolet radiations that comes from the sun. Ozone absorbs this radiation and breaks down to oxygen. So ozone will absorb this radiation and it will break it down to oxygen. Oxygen is different from ozone. Can we call the breaking down of ozone a chemical change? If ultraviolet radiations were not absorbed by ozone, it would reach the Earth's surface and cause harm to us and other life forms. Ozone acts as a natural shield against this radiation. So ozone is very helpful in our environment. We learned in chapter 1 that plant produces their food by a process called photosynthesis. Can we call the photosynthesis a chemical change? Paheli said that even digestion is a chemical change. So they are right. 6.3 Rusting of iron. Let us get back to rusting. This is one change that affects iron article and slowly destroys them. So rusting is very bad for iron articles and it slowly degrades it and destroy them. Since iron is used in making bridges, ships, cars, truck bodies and many other articles, the monetary loss due to rusting is huge. So as we can see that in this age of iron, we use iron in almost everything: bridges, ships, cars, trucks and many other articles. So because of this rusting, a huge monetary loss is resulted. The process of rusting can be represented by the following equation: iron plus oxygen plus water will become rust, which is iron oxide, Fe2O3. For rusting, the presence of both oxygen and water or water vapor is essential. So for rusting to occur, there must be one oxygen and two water. These two materials must be there. In fact, if the content of moisture in air is huge, which means if it is more humid, rusting becomes faster. So when there is humidity, the rusting will become more fast. So how do we prevent rusting? Prevent iron particles from coming in contact with oxygen or water or both. One simple way is to apply a coat of paint or grease. In fact, these coats should be applied regularly to prevent rusting. So when we apply a coat of paint on the iron article, it will prevent them from rusting, but it must be applied regularly so that the effect of this paints must remain constant, so that rusting must not take place. Another way is to deposit a layer of metal like chromium or zinc on iron. So another way is that you can deposit some layer of metal like chromium or zinc on iron to prevent it from rusting. Oh, that is why my friend Rita is always complaining about iron articles rusting so fast. She lives near the coast. So near the coast humidity is high. So that's why the rusting process is amplified, or the rusting takes place more faster. This process of depositing a layer of zinc on iron is called galvanization. So when we put a layer of zinc on the iron, it is called galvanization. The iron pipes we use in our homes to carry water are galvanized to prevent rusting. So when the iron pipe in our house is galvanized to prevent it from rusting, because there is continuous flow of water. You know that ships are made of iron and a part of them remains underwater. So we all know that ships are made of iron. So the part which comes in contact with water, so it is always under the water. On the part above water also, water drops keep clinging to the ship outer surface. So in the above part also there is always water splashed over there. Moreover, the water of the sea contains many salts. The salt water makes the process of rust formation faster. So because of the salts, rust will the process of rusting will become faster. Therefore, ships suffer a lot of damage from rusting in spite of being painted. So much so that a fraction of ship's iron has to be replaced every year. So because of this, the parts of iron ship must be replaced every year. Can you imagine the monetary loss to the world? So these ships are always rusted. So there are huge monetary loss. Stainless steel is made by mixing iron with carbon and other metals like chromium, nickel and manganese. This does not rust. So stainless steel is rust free because it is made by mixing iron with carbon and metals like chromium, nickels and manganese. 6.4 Crystallization. In class 6th, you have learned that salt can be obtained by the evaporation of seawater. So when the evaporation of seawater takes place, salts can be generated. The salt obtained in this manner is not pure and the shape of its crystal cannot be seen clearly. So it is always not pure and the crystal cannot be seen clearly. However, large crystal of pure substances can be formed by their solution. The process is called crystallization. It is an example of a physical change. So crystallization is a physical change. So no new substances will be formed here. Activity 6.9 to be performed in the presence of the teacher. A word of caution is here. Use only dilute sulfuric acid. Be careful while boiling water. Take a cupful of water in a beaker and add a few drops of dilute sulfuric acid. So you have to take a cupful of water in a beaker and add few drops of dilute sulfuric acid. Heat the water. When it starts boiling, add copper sulfate powder slowly while stirring continuously. So we have to stir continuously and add some copper sulfates powder. In figure 6.6 it is shown. Continue adding copper sulfate powder till no more powder can be dissolved. So you must continuously add it. Filter the solution, allow it to cool. Do not disturb the solution when it is cooling. So you should not disturb when it is cooling. Look at the solution after some time. Can you see the crystals of copper sulfate? You can see the crystals. If not, wait for some time more. So here is copper sulfate solution, and here is the crystals that are formed during the process. You have learned about the physical and chemical changes. Try to identify changes that you observe around you as physical or chemical change. So we will see in a nutshell what we have learned so far. Changes can be of two types, physical and chemical. Physical changes are changes in the physical properties of substances. No new substances are formed in these changes. These changes may be reversible. So physical change may be reversible and no new substances are formed. In chemical changes, new substances are produced. Some substances can be obtained in pure state from their solution by crystallization. So the some substances may be obtained in its pure state by the process of crystallization. So the chapter ends here.